Uday, this is a very well planned effort by maybe the Gandhi family or the Gandhi loyalists. This was all expected when this whole discussion and the letter has leaked out, or it has been put into the public domain. Everybody is known to it, that even like Dr. Said said, it's rightfully it should go from Sonia Gandhi to Rahul Gandhi. That's just the basic crisis. It is more than the leadership crisis. If you really look at it from the 1885 to 1947, look at the history of Congress. More than 57 presidents till the independence. From the independence, from the Nehruvian era of Congress till today, only one, except one or two occasions, most of the 40 years is ruled by this one particular family. So we are talking about not the Congress which we were all we wanted to discuss. This is all about a family business. And in a family, what is going to happen today is that everybody will jump in and say that only a Gandhi can save, or other than the Rahul Gandhi is going to be the Messiah. And imagine a leader who has literally failed in multiple times as a parliamentarian, as a Congress president, as a vice president. He has failed miserably in all actions. He was in charge of Youth Congress. What happened? There could not have been even a single democratic effort is being placed in this particular party. I feel the time has come for the Congress to rise to the occasion to be a mainline opposition party and work in the interest of the country. Now look at another fact. Why most of these leaders have come and written a letter? Just imagine in a Congress party, there is an aspiration. Your aspiration is limited. You can never be the president of the party. Or a Shashi Tharoor or a Kapil Sibal or a Veerappa Moily, or for that matter Mallikarjun Kharge, can never even dream of being a president of the party. Why? They're all coming from, most of those people are coming from a large legacy of working from the grassroots level, and they have risen to this level, but they can never aspire to be the president of the party. Why? So I think the challenge of Congress is primarily limited to one family, and there is a Yuvraj who is incapable of running the party and ruling or handling the people in the party. The huge aspiration crisis, this needs to be addressed. Unless and until this is not addressed, I believe what Priyaji said is the right word. See, I would say that there is already a large number of people in the political party. See, you also have to understand Congress as a culture was always in power. And without the power, it's like the leaders of Congress are like without oxygen. So from the last few years, like in the 6 years, and they are not even seeing any kind of a light to get back in power with Rahul being there. I would rather say that Rahul coming in back as the Congress president would be the blessing for the ruling party. So there is a section of people who don't give that kind of a value to Rahul Gandhi, even though as a Gandhi they might say that, oh yes, it's all about Rahul Gandhi, but they themselves will also backbiting and telling him that this guy do not have that kind of a capability to run a party like us. So, or rather, inside themselves, they don't accept him as a leader, but they are forcefully being taken that he's a Gandhi and we have no choice other than accepting him. I think these are symptoms which are not at all good for a political party like Congress. Please understand, whatever you say, that Congress is a culture. It is embedded in the culture of India to a great extent, and this is a party which is there even in bits and pieces in all across. But then if you really look at it, these kind of, whenever the others like Sharad Pawar or Mamata Banerjee, G.K. Mopanar, the people, some of these powerful people, whenever they have raised anything against the Gandhi family, they have all been shown the way. And some of them have become successful at their own, and today Congress is a number 2, even in whether it is in Maharashtra or in Tamil Nadu, so they hardly exist, or in West Bengal. So I would say that Rahul coming back may give some kind of a lease of life, or in terms of at least to say that they have a leader to portray, but it is not going to be in the interest of the party. I only have a feeling that unless if the Gandhi family moves out, even nobody knows. Even in fact, yesterday somebody was telling on another channel, there are people who are thinking that to get Priyanka up, imagine that one fine day, Priyanka is just the National General Secretary of AICC without having any kind of a background other than that she is from the family of Gandhi. So eventually, if you wanted to stay in power, or if you both in the party or in the government, you need to have some kind of a quality. Only a surname is not going to find you a job forever. At the end of the day, whether it is for you or me, whether it is in a corporate world or in a political party, at the end of the day, you need to show some kind of a leadership quality, which has been really missing in the Congress for a longest time. And Rahul Gandhi per se, even if he comes back or even if he doesn't come back, as Sadish ji said, even if he doesn't come back, everybody knows that the family is the one still running you will only have a puppet president without having the Gandhi surname. So most of the leaders, especially the Congress, also has another challenge, that large number of senior leaders, it's a large number of them, who do not have any more a mass text base. If you really look at it, for an example, Shashi Tharoor, he's only limited to a constituency and then comes to the Twitter. Veerappa Moily is almost like that horse in a way, like it's been so many years, he don't even have a single constituency where he will be able to gather about 2,000 people. Kapil Sibal, he is just a television and a lawyer. There is no background. Same is in the case of Ghulam Nabi Azad or in the Anand Sharma. So most of these leaders who are coming up and signing the letter may not be in the right spirit, because their courtyard, the Lutyens' courtyard, is not anymore functioning. A new section of leaders wanted to really come up. And I think if all of them really loves Congress, would like to pave the new way for the new team to come in. But it may be interesting if Rahul Gandhi comes back. So that means this is going to be, maybe in another 10 years down the line, you will find zero Congress. Actually, the BJP's mantra of Congress Mukt Bharat is really going to happen. In fact, Rahul Gandhi coming back means the Congress Mukt Bharat of what Amit Shah ji or Narendra Modi said is going to really taking place.
Okay.
Ideally, a letter like that should have been made upset to any of the top leadership of any party, for that matter. Why only just when it comes to Gandhi family, it's very obvious they can't even think of challenging by anybody, because it's a family business, as I always say. But having said that, you just imagine that why this letter has been posted upon. What was the reason for these leaders to come up and write? If the CWC meeting is not really ready to discuss the very fact that why this letter have been written by these leaders, then of course nobody can help the Congress. If they are still saying that my mother was unwell, why did you write a letter? There is a COVID situation in the country, why did you write a letter? It said, and when there was a Rajasthan political turmoil was happening, why did you write a letter? There is nothing called something like this in politics. Politics is a 24/7, 365 days activity, and it is the most dynamic activity which takes place in a democratic country or such a large country like India. I think Rahul Gandhi per se, of course, we all know that there is a huge chance that Rahul Gandhi will finally be taken over, or otherwise Priyanka Gandhi. That would be the ideal choice for all the congressmen. This is going to happen. This is all broadly a drama, or even somehow just maybe only because of the pressure from the media or the internal pressure, they may choose another scapegoat president. He will be given any value? Will he be listened? He will be just a puppet who will have to really go in the morning, just like another prime minister. I mean, we had Manmohan Singh as a prime minister, and the whole world knows that he was more of like a dummy prime minister. With all due respect to him, but it is a very well-known fact. So Congress will have now a dummy president if it is a non-Gandhi guy. He will have to go in the morning and to report to Rahul Gandhi, and in the afternoon maybe to Priyanka Gandhi, and in the evening to Sonia Gandhi. If this is the way politics have to happen in this country right now, I think it's a sad story. Uday, one more point.
Questioning, even if there is a non-Gandhi at the helm, how much power will he really exercise and have? Sumit Dubey is still with us. Sumit, what more can...
So they do not have the career beyond a point. The maximum what they can expect in Congress is that to become an AICC General Secretary or maybe a cabinet berth. Beyond that, if they are in power, beyond that, there is always something they will have to be, they cannot aspire to be. Whereas in the BJP, we don't know who could be the next prime minister, maybe after 10 years or 15 years. There may be a new president after Mr. Nadda. As Sahil said, that look at the legacy. So you will always, in a democracy or in a country like in the 21st century, where the world is running through technology, you will always be compared a party to party, wherein one party has got an internal democracy and year on year they have a new leadership coming and taking over without even having any kind of a dynasty background. Here is a party which is only relying on one particular family without even thinking of the gentleman's capability. Another thing is that, as I said, it is Rahul Gandhi is never known as a full-time politician. He's a part-time politician. Whenever he feel like, he will come. Whenever he feel like, he will talk to the leaders. Yeah, political leader of today should be available 24/7 to talk to the people, to talk to the leaders and guide those people and set examples so that the rest of the people can follow. So if you really look, Uday, you will not be able to find a single example which Rahul Gandhi has set for the country. I don't think anybody sitting in this panel can even mention one. So I feel that even if the Congress going back to any of the Gandhi is not going to be anything going to be good. As I said in the initial phase, Rahul Gandhi coming back would be very good for the BJP, but definitely not going to be good for Congress for sure.
Okay.
I think I will not be doubted in anyhow that finally, as Mr. Sadish Singh said, that it will be eventually the Rahul Gandhi, he will come back, or otherwise a Priyanka Gandhi, but 99% it will be a Rahul Gandhi's reincarnation, which is going to be the outcome of all this, what is all the drama what is taking place. And I think nobody, even in this panel or for that matter, nobody will be ever having a doubt, even to a public, if you're really a common man, you will go and ask that, everybody would be knowing it's just a matter that he has taken a break and that break is almost over and he needs to come back. So, but then how long this break and coming back, and I'm not getting that kind of a support, there should be, I'm not interested, the presidency is imposed upon him. People are just crying to have him back. I don't know how long the people of this country and the congressmen, the common congressman will be able to bear this drama. That is going to be a very, very important question. So another thing is that despite he is being in the power, as I said earlier, that the Congress from the booth level to the DCC, to the PCC, and then to the AICC, hardly have ever happened any kind of an election. He tried to get this youth congress as on a democratic election mode, but it is still considered to be not really any kind of an election is happening. So unless and until there is a democracy within the party, there will be always a challenge. Another thing with like an A.K. Antony or a Manmohan Singh, or even for that Ghulam Nabi Azad and etc., is a part of that old gang which had their own share of the great time. Now they have no role to play other than being a Margdarshak Mandal. So if they are still dictating or guiding or forcing upon a leader onto the party, they are not doing any good to Congress, but rather they are doing bad to the Congress. Another interesting fact, Uday, just imagine what is the time with this whole drama is taking place within the Congress. The West Bengal election is going to be due anytime now. Both the BJP and Trinamool Congress is fully actively working on that. There is Bihar elections are going to happen. The country is going through a COVID crisis. Most part of the country is under the severe monsoon. The flood situation is taking place, and whereas the principal opposition party of the country is trying to find its own national leader. So just imagine that the country is going through a crisis. The political activity in two important states like Bihar and West Bengal is going to have an election, whereas they absolutely, as Sahil said, that there is a headless chicken. So this is not at all in the interest of the country, not at all in the interest of the democracy, not at all in the interest of the Congress. It's only in the interest of one particular family, and this needs to go. If not now, maybe I would say that, believe me, that this is going to, in another 5 years down, 10 years down the line, if we all have a panel like this, we will be discussing about the history of Congress, but there won't be any present that particular time for the Congress, if this is the drama which is going to continue. 80 years of plus, how many leaders are in Congress in the CWC? Imagine, whereas this country has got, it's considered as the youngest country in the world, whereas the max of 35% of our population is under, below 30 years of age. And whereas most of the Congress leaders who call the shots or the Gandhi loyalists are all Motilal Vora, Manmohan Singh, A.K. Antony, Ghulam Nabi Azad, even like a Kapil Sibal. All those people had their own, even P. Chidambaram. I don't think there is anything which is left on these leaders to offer to this country. The Congress should say bye-bye to those people. Congress should say Rahul Gandhi to take a full, permanent vacation to Thailand or Cambodia or whichever of his favorite destination. Find out a young leader who can rejuvenate Congress back, or otherwise, as the real Gandhi. I would always say there is a one real Gandhi and there is a duplicate Gandhi. What we are discussing today is about the duplicate Gandhi.
We're getting more into